Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here with another album review. Today we're going to do Ozzy Osbourne's No Ordinary Man. Just came out here this past Friday. I am doing this review on a Sunday because I wanted to give myself a couple days to listen to it a few times through, which I have done, and just give you my ideas on it. I'm not going to do like a track by track breakdown on this. I've already actually reviewed 3 of the songs on this, the singles that came out, excluding It's a Raid, which I actually think came out the same day as the album. I'm just going to give you my overall view of this. Starts out and ends both of the heaviest songs. It starts out with the single that I reviewed there, Straight to Hell, and ends with the newest one, It's a Raid, which It's a Raid is probably the heaviest song on the whole album. Also has Post Malone on it. It's like we got some really weird overdriven vocals on it, which I didn't care for too much, but the song's okay. In between, pretty much every song, if it's not an all-and-out ballad, starts out kind of slow, then kind of gets heavy with heavier riff, and then slows down again, and then gets heavy and speeds up and slows down. Pretty much every song does that same thing. All My Life is the second song on the album. It's cool, sounding kind of like almost like a pop song, which Ozzy likes. He likes pop music, so it's not surprising to hear him trying something like that. Like I said, just starts out with a slower kind of guitar riff, like a clean electric, kicks in, and catchy song and everything. Nothing wrong with the song, just kind of a strange to have it thrown there as track 2. Into Goodbye, which starts out slow, kicks in with a pretty heavy riff. Actually picks up in the middle quite a bit, but then gets slow again. Good production and all as far as the playing goes, and sound quality is good. All aside from, I will say that the guitar tone on this, the entire album, kind of thin if you're used to listening to Ozzy stuff, except for maybe Ultimate Sin, which was the thinnest sounding Ozzy album ever. Love the album, but the production on that is really thin. It's got a sound that maybe sounds like you plug directly into your GarageBand or DAW of any kind. Then you got like the most basic guitar distortion effect there was. That's what they used on this album, which kind of surprises me. And it is Andrew Watt who plays on this whole album, guitar on this whole album. A lot of the solos, which if you're expecting blistering solos on this, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get the Jake Ely, Randy Rhoads, Zach solos. They're just not there. You got Slash playing on a couple, which are probably the best solos on the whole album, and Tom Morello plays guitar on a couple songs, although you can barely hear anything he does on either track. And also I'll make a mention of vocals on this. You got a lot of auto-tune, and I know probably somebody's gonna rag at me saying that's what they do nowadays, blah blah blah. But with Ozzy, I don't really think he really needed it. I mean, I like hearing artists as they age and they grow. Elton John's a great example because he actually sings on No Ordinary Man, and his voice has changed over the years, and I think it sounds great. I love the way artists sound when they get older. I mean, you don't want to hear a 7-year-old guy sounding like a 30-year-old guy. That's just be weird. So to me, I think maybe the use of the auto-tune took away from his nuances and the vocal quality, which I think would have added to the album. I like Ozzy's voice. I think he's got a great voice. And then we go into Ordinary Man, which I already did a review on, but I think that's a great song. Under the Graveyard, also very good song. Into Eat Me, which starts out with a harmonica, which kind of reminded me of early Black Sabbath when Ozzy would play on a couple songs, and I don't know if he's playing on this one. Actually, I didn't check the liner notes on that, but that goes into a really Black Sabbath-y type riff, which I'm not sure if they're intentionally going to try to sound like Black Sabbath on this album, but there's a lot of riffs on here that sound like they're trying to be Black Sabbath, which is cool. I mean, I like the riffs, but I don't know if it's intentional or it's just how it worked out. Either way, the riffs are cool. I like hearing Ozzy singing that type of stuff. I mean, I'm a huge Black Sabbath fan, so him singing over Black Sabbath sounding riffs is fine with me. The only thing I will say Today is not is the end song. It's got cool riffs. It doesn't sound like it's really cohesive to me. It sounded like they just had a bunch of stuff they threw together, kind of forgettable. In fact, I couldn't even probably hum it for you right now if I had to, just because it didn't really do a whole lot for me. Scary Little Green Men be the next song. Same thing, starts out slow, gets heavy, slow, then heavy. Although it is a good riff for the chorus. Lyrics are kind of funny. They're actually kind of cool. And that's the one that I think, Tom Earl plays like, and you can hear like 2 or 3 notes he plays. I don't know, they really buried him in that song. Holy for Tonight, it's another ballad. Didn't do a whole lot for me. The only thing I will say about this one is there's a lot of production going on in the song in the background that I do like what Andrew Watt does. He puts in a lot of little nuances and orchestral stuff and vocal things throughout the whole album, which does add a lot to it. I'll give him that. It actually adds a lot to this album. It kind of reminds me of what they did with Sgt. Pepper, which doesn't surprise me at all, being as Ozzy is a huge Beatles fan. That was kind of nice to hear a lot of that going on. Several of the songs, actually. Because it's kind of weird mix. You got Black Sabbath riffs with Beatles sounding background stuff going on. That's actually cool. I'll give him that. And then ends with It's a Raid, unless of course you have the version with Take What You Want, which was the Post Malone song that started the whole collaboration with Ozzy and Andrew Watt. Overall opinion of the album is that it's a decent album. A couple songs in there that were kind of but other than that, the songs are all good. A lot of them, like I said, follow that same pattern, so it kind of tends, as a whole, maybe it sounds like it goes on a little bit long. There's not the variety like you would hope for on an album, not just an Ozzy album, just any album. You want a little bit of a variety, which I don't think this had. I know the album wasn't like a planned album, it was something that's kind of happened and they did, so I'll just listen, knowing that, I guess I'll say that I guess this album, the songs are good songs on their own. And if you've listened to like Scream and Black Rain, this is better than those 2 albums. Those could have been those 2 albums for me are easily forgotten. They're almost like one album. They sound the same, even though there's different musicians on them. The songwriting was this kind of, I don't know, didn't do it for me on either one of those 2 albums. So this one, I like the fact that it's an artist that's trying to expand, try new things. He shouldn't, as an artist, you shouldn't be afraid to try new things. So it's glad to see that Ozzy, being how long he's been in the music business, is still trying new stuff. That's cool. I like that. So it's always good to hear artists still try to grow. Even this long in his career, he's still trying new things, he's still trying to grow. Hopefully it's not the last thing we'll hear from him. If it is, it's still nothing to be ashamed of. It's still a good album. His health is doing bad. He's had to cancel his tour. So, keep him in our thoughts, and hopefully he'll be back out there rocking again. And in the meantime, we'll have this to listen to. I'm going to give it a few more listens. Hopefully it'll grow on me a little bit more. I'm sure it will. That's usually the way, a lot of these albums go. It's one that I hope maybe, made jokes about Post Malone introducing Ozzy, to the music world, but he kind of maybe did introduce him to the younger listeners. So maybe some of these younger guys will take a listen to this, guys and girls will take a listen to this album and say, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll check out his older stuff, because that's kind of what I did, with Ozzy. I got into Ozzy around Bark at the Moon and worked my way backwards and listened to all the amazing stuff he did with Sabbath. So, that's how it happens a lot for people. It's the introduction to what he's done. He's had a huge influence on my music, and, maybe not the guitar playing, because I'm definitely nowhere near the guitar player that anybody's ever had, or he's ever had in any of his albums. But, songwriting, it's always there. Everything you listen to is always there. It comes out, in different ways and shapes and forms. So, anybody you want to check out what I've, been influenced by, feel free to check out Roger Christopherson's YouTube or the Bandcamp, any of that stuff. Love to hear your comments and whether you agree or disagree with what I've said here. Maybe what your thoughts are on this. Maybe you think I'm way off base, but that's cool. We're talking about Ozzy. Who cares if we're right or wrong? I don't care if I'm right or wrong. We're talking about Ozzy. That's the best thing I can talk about today is Ozzy's new album. So, till next time. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.